Hey YouTube, it's your girl Nicole, and I'm back with another episode. And today I want to talk about the topic with Nicki Minaj, Kenny Petty, as well as his accuser. Now, Nicki's name has been trending in the media for some time now, between her husband failing to register as a registered sex offender to his accuser being aired today on The Real and going into details about, her communications with Nicki Minaj, as well as the tweet that Nicki tweeted last week after the Met Gala. Now, y'all, there's a lot of people out here that's weighing in on a conspiracy theory. Like, I've seen multiple videos where people are saying that the elite are trying to silence Nicki, but this is my thing, y'all. There's two different factors that play in here. We have conspiracy and we have facts. The fact is that her husband was convicted as a sex offender. The fact of the matter is that he is required to register wherever they move to. The fact of the matter is that this woman is a victim. Now, the reality, y'all, is who are we to tell people how to grieve? Because after watching her air today on the show, and I'm very sensitive to energy, it's pretty clear that she's still hurting over what she experienced. And, healing is a journey. We go on this journey, and for many of us, we never really get over it, but we just learn better coping skills. And if anyone who has experienced similar abuse to what she experienced would know that that's something that lingers with you for the rest of your life, when you feel powerless, when your power is basically stripped away from you. Now, she went into the details about Nicki wanting her to recant her statement, basically, and how Nicki went online and pretty much impeached her character based on the stories that her husband told her. And, her main thing is that she wants it to be known that, yes, this happened to me. And y'all, with the Me Too movement going on in this world, and so many men and women are being abused, and people in power are abusing them, or people who are stronger than them are abusing them. This is a serious topic, y'all. And granted, Nicki has millions of fans, and I'm one of them. I could raise my hand. I'm definitely a Nicki fan. I'm a fan of her music, hands down. And what I've learned to do was to separate her personal drama from her music, because I don't want to not listen to Nicki. Like, I rocks with Nicki for real, like since she started. But the truth is that, as women, especially women of color and successful women, many of them tend to date down. I'm guilty of that. I've also dated down. Many of times I've dated down. And, I don't want to say it's due to low self-esteem or things like that. It's just, it happens. And when you have a good heart and, you're successful within your own realm, many women tend to date down thinking that they can help bring someone else up to their level for whatever reason. Now, me personally, I would never date a sex offender. In fact, I ask people these questions. I do. I ask if they're convicted of domestic violence. I ask men, are they registered sex offenders? These are things that needs to be known. See, because and this is something that's going on in our society, y'all, because people on the outside is looking at Nicki because Nicki has a large platform. But this is happening in everyday society where women are dating men that they don't even know. And many of them don't even know that they have people who are registered sex offenders, one, in their life, and two, who haven't been convicted of it, but they are, and they're abusing children. And it goes into so many different, it plays into so many different factors, y'all, to the point where just like Nicki's protecting her husband, and the truth is, that's what she's supposed to do. She neck deep in, y'all. She's married to this man, and she has a child with him. That's what she's supposed to do, is to protect him. But what a lot of people ain't paying attention to, and y'all fail to realize, is that women have been protecting these predators for a long time. A lot of times they blame the children. They turn on the kids. They choose the man over the child. This stuff has been going on, y'all, for centuries, okay? The only difference here is that Nicki is famous. She has a platform. So more eyes is on her in everything that she does. Now, I'm not here to say if she's wrong or right for choosing the spouse that she chose. But what I am here to say is that when you become convicted as a sex offender, there's certain steps that you have to take because those are the choices that you made. And I'm not saying that everybody don't deserve a second chance, y'all. Because many people make poor decisions. But that's a different level. Just for me personally, that's a completely different level. You know, and something else. That was Nicki Minaj's childhood sweetheart. Her and Kenny knew each other prior to her becoming famous. Now, with the woman going on air today and saying that Nicki bribed her with money and all of these different factors, you know, I believe that woman. And I can't put myself in that box and say just because I'm a fan of Nicki Minaj's music, I'm gonna disregard the story that this woman is saying. Many people saying that she doing it for clout and she doing it for money. But the reality is that she was minding her business, y'all. None of us ain't know who that woman was until Nicki brought Kenny out. She chose to make him a trophy in her life. So therefore, his skeletons in his closet became her skeletons in her closet. Is y'all following where I'm coming? Because when you join into husband and wife, you come together as one, which means that each other baggage becomes one. So, you know, the reality is that Nicki is interconnected with all of this because that's her husband. It's not, oh, Nicki didn't do it, it's her husband. No, they are one, y'all. And the reality is that her brother is currently incarcerated for similar crimes. If you listen to her music, Roman, you know, she rap about this type of things. And, you know, everybody has forms of trauma in their life. And nobody knows what Nicki went through in her life, you know, and why she chooses to protect predators. But I can't see it no different than women who harbor fugitives or allow men to sell drugs out of their house or drive their cars and, you know, bring them all the way down. And when they met them, they were up. This happens every day in society, y'all. So, you know, at the end of the day, everybody is pointing their fingers like, oh, Nicki shouldn't have been with him. Nicki this, Nicki that, Nicki this, Nicki that. The reality is that many people doing it. They having these strangers around their children. They not background checking them. Everybody is meeting people, strangers on the internet. It's just a mess. It's a total mess. And, you know, dating down as a successful woman. I had to look at my notes real quick, y'all, because I did take a few notes. There's a lot of successful women out here dating down because the reality is that the men of higher caliber, and I'm not going to say all of them, but a lot of the men of higher caliber, they're seeking these Barbie dolls and women that have BBLs and they have all this plastic surgery and they're fake. They're fake. And I have nothing against plastic surgery. You know, for whatever reason, people are altering their body and it's an epidemic. This plastic surgery epidemic is just as bad as the coronavirus pandemic. Let that sink in, y'all. This plastic surgery epidemic is right there running neck and neck with the coronavirus pandemic, y'all. And that's the thing. It's just so it makes it easy for women to date down because when they date down, they feel like if I help this man or if I'm here for him, he gonna love me unconditionally. And it also falls into a control factor. And when you also date down, you get all the time in the world that you want. That he will be up under you 24/7, honey. Okay? That's how it goes. And then when you date on your level, it's usually the man got a whole bunch of women. They make you compete. There's so many different options that they have. You know, they don't want their woman to be successful. Ultimately, a lot of them want you to be a homemaker. You know, and it's a mess. So the fact that she's dating down, if you look at it from all factors, it makes sense. But if you just coming in with tunnel vision and you just looking at it from one angle, of course it's gonna be, oh, Nikki has 100 million followers. She shouldn't this, she shouldn't that. Who are we to say what she should and shouldn't do, y'all? But we can say that her husband was supposed to register as a sex offender. What we can say is that her husband was convicted of a sexual-based crime. What we can say is that his abuser is speaking out. What we can say is that something transpired. And, you know, I also saw comments on where they were saying that Onika spoke out and said he was 15 and she was 16. They were dating. Listen, that right there, I don't care how old they are. You have cases out here where 10-year-olds were abusing 3-year-olds. You know, this happens in this society where it's just because you're a child does not, or you're a juvenile rather, does not mean that you are not capable of committing such a heinous crime. They absolutely are, y'all. They got children murderers. I was just watching a video the other day where 12-year-old or 13-year-old murdered 2 people. You know, so that part of it, I feel like is hocus pocus as far as the age and the credibility of the woman. You know, it's just a mess. And the downside of it is that, you know, that woman has to live with whatever she went through for the remainder of her life. And Kenny is living large. Nikki is very successful. And if she don't make another song, y'all, she will continue to be just fine. Nikki worth over, I want to say $80 million, her net worth. She don't got to do nothing for the rest of her life. She can truly invest her money, sit in the house, raise her children, and continue to move forward with her life. You see what I'm saying? And still get royalties off of her songs that she made a long time ago. Like Dear Old Nikki. I still listen to that, y'all. She's still getting royalty checks from her old music. You see what I mean, y'all? But because she built a brand. She built a brand. And what happens is that, you know, they say you have to be careful who you surround yourself with. And we have to choose better when we're choosing a mate and someone that we want to raise a family with. But the pickings is low. The pickings are very low out here, y'all. You know, because a lot of the black men that's successful, they ultimately want to date, they glorify women from other races. And I have nothing against the interracial thing. I mean, if you love them, if you like it, I love it. Do you, boo? You know, but that's the reality of it. The pickings are very low. Very low. You know, so I understand it. And additionally, maybe, just maybe, I know they were together when they were kids, but what if that was her first love? You know, no, the heart does what the heart wants to do, and the heart doesn't always tell us what's right for us, y'all. And as men and women, we all have chose to be with somebody that we knew was bad for us, that we knew was toxic for us, that we knew was poison for us. But the one thing we can't do is victim shame. You know, and this part is for the barbs. Because I love Nikki and I bump Nikki music, right? But as barbs, y'all stand up and y'all just, no matter if it's right, no matter what it is, y'all is just like Nikki right. And y'all just come at people's neck. And that's inappropriate. Because if that happened to one of y'all, and they out here victim shaming y'all, people committing suicide, y'all, people go through so many different mental ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster. You never know what somebody is going through on the inside when they experience such abuse. It doesn't matter how long ago it was. It happened. You see what I mean? Now, granted, I wasn't in the room. I wasn't there. And I don't know none of them personally. But what I do know is that he was convicted of that crime. I know that. And what I do know is that when Nikki came out that she was together with him, it went crazy in the airways. And what I also believe is that the tweet that Nicki made in regards to the vaccines, I don't think they're interconnected with the situation with Kenny Petty. Because if y'all remember, when this situation first happened with Kenny Petty and Nicki got with him and she went public with him, she was losing endorsements. A lot of things was happening. This ain't the first showdown where, you know, Nicki's name was blew up in the media. The world has been, excuse me, y'all. The world been looking at Nicki a little bit different when she stepped out publicly with a registered sex offender. You know, so I don't think they're interconnected. Now, don't get me wrong, Big Pharma probably is a little bit upset because Nicki made that tweet, and you know her fans. A lot of people out here, when you have a platform like that, people don't do research. That's probably the only research that they're going to do, is simply listening to what Nicki said, and they're going to run with that. I'm not getting the vaccine. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. You see what I'm saying? Just because of the position, because of the brand, you know? So, and a lot of people look up to Nicki. She's like their idol. You see what I mean? If you don't believe for something, you'll fall for anything. So, of course, many people will follow behind her when she made the tweet that she made. But in Nicki's defense, she never said that she will never get the vaccine. And if she did, somebody please tag me in the video or post it in the comment section below, y'all. Also, while I'm thinking about it, drop a comment for me, y'all, and let me know how y'all feel on this topic and what do y'all feel about the points that I pointed out in regards to everything that's going on in the media. But back to what I was saying, yeah, I don't recall Nicki ever saying that she will never get the vaccine. What I do recall her saying was that she need more information. She's not quite ready, and she needs a little bit more information in regards to it before she can agree to it. And I believe that that's a fair statement. That's fair. You know, as Americans and as a human race, the Constitution was built upon that. We should have the right to decide. It shouldn't be, oh, you're going to get it and you have to get it today. No. What if you don't want to get it until next week? What if you don't want to get it until 2022? That should be your right. You see what I mean? And so just, you know, in my personal opinion, in my honest opinion, I don't believe that and this is interconnected. I truly believe that there are two different things with the accuser of her husband stepping out as well as with the tweet that Nicki made. There are two different things. The only difference is that Nicki's in the center of it and she's entangled into that web. You see what I mean? And she's grown, y'all. She made this choice to move forward with him. And she knew the backlash that she would be facing by choosing to move forward with a convicted sex offender. So therefore, all of this stuff right here that's going on, it kind of just, it sounded a little crazy to me. Now, I'm not going to say that I believe that, like I was saying, y'all, I'm not going to say that I believe or don't believe that Nicki put a bounty on that lady head. But Nicki worth $80 million, y'all. And in her video, she said that somebody put $20,000 on her lap. Come on. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go into the victim shaming. I'm not going to do none of that. I'm just going to just talk about the facts and things that was presented in front of us. But we looking at a net worth of $80 million, and she offered this woman $20,000 to silence her, and then turned around and put a $20,000 bounty on her head. Come on, y'all, $20,000 ain't no money. Stop playing. So I'm torn. I'm torn because I see the side of the victim, and I also see the side of Nicki. You see what I'm saying? I'm also a fan of Nicki. But I'm also a supporter of domestic violence awareness. I'm also a supporter of victims against sexual abuse. So these are things that I'm passionate about. These are things that I'm passionate about in my community, that I don't have any issues with supporting and volunteering, and, you know, so that we could come back to the point of unity where these things aren't happening so much in our community, y'all, but the reality is that they happening. The reality is that they are happening. People are being abused every day. You know, as women, we choosing the wrong caliber of men to date. It's just, it's so many factors, y'all. It's just so many different factors. But in closing, I want to remind y'all that when you get married, they say in sickness and health till death do us part. And by law, they can't even force a wife or a husband to testify against their spouse. So there's a level in this thing where, as constituents, we need to also understand that that's her husband. That's that woman husband, y'all. Even if in her heart she know that he dead wrong, at this point she done bit off too much, y'all. So now she have to support him. She have to. It just only makes sense. Or else leave him. It's only going to be those two options. Either you're going to ride with him. And then, you know, growing up in a city, Nikki from Queens, I'm from Jersey. You know, the reality of this thing, y'all, is that we are taught to ride or die with our men. We know they be in these streets. It be so many different factors that's going on, but it's glorified to be a ride or die. Bonnie and Clyde, hence. It's glorified. So for her to ride with her husband, I mean, what y'all thought she wasn't? I'm going to close out on this part right here, y'all. And, you know, drop down in the comment section below. Let me know y'all thoughts on this topic, how y'all feel about this, and give me some feedback on the content that I put out and how I feel about the situation. And let's have an open conversation about this. You know, right, wrong, or indifference. I love y'all. I'm signing off. Mwah. Peace.